Entitled mother tries to steal my beloved classic car. I was out for a Sunday drive in my cherished 1967 Ford Mustang, a car that had been in my family for generations. The sun was shining, and the wind was in my hair as I cruised down a scenic country road, reveling in the purring engine and the nostalgia of a bygone era. As I approached a quaint roadside diner, I decided to stop for a coffee and a bite to eat. I parked my Mustang in a spot near the entrance, making sure to give it plenty of space, like always. Little did I know that this decision would lead to a showdown with an entitled mother like no other. As I enjoyed my meal, I couldn't help but notice a commotion outside. There, standing next to my beloved car, was Karen, the infamous queen of entitled parents. Her beady eyes were locked on my Mustang, and she was lecturing her son, who looked mortified. Curiosity got the better of me, so I rushed outside to assess the situation. Karen was berating her son about how he deserved a car like mine and how it would make him cool in school. I couldn't believe my ears. My Mustang was a family heirloom, and I couldn't let it fall into the wrong hands. I politely approached Karen, trying to reason with her. "Excuse me, Mom, but this car has sentimental value to my family, and I can't sell it or give it away. It's not for sale." Karen's eyes narrowed, and she screeched, "You can't deny my son what he deserves. He's a straight A student, and this car would be the perfect reward." I took a deep breath and explained once more that the car was not for sale, no matter how exceptional her son's grades were. But Karen wasn't one to take no for an answer. She huffed and muttered something about selfish millennials. Desperate to avoid a scene, I decided to return to my meal inside the diner, hoping she would get tired of waiting. I was wrong. Karen stormed in, dragging her unwilling son along. She pointed at me and shrieked, "This man is trying to steal my son's car. Someone, call the police." Other diners looked on, bewildered. I tried to calmly explain the situation to the onlookers, but Karen continued her tirade. The manager came over and asked us to leave, hoping to defuse the situation. As I headed back to my car, Karen followed me, still shouting. She even attempted to get into my Mustang, but I had locked it. Her son begged her to stop, clearly embarrassed by his mother's behavior. Finally, a kind-hearted couple who had witnessed the entire spectacle intervened. They convinced Karen to leave before the police arrived, reminding her that trying to steal someone's car was illegal. I thanked the couple for their help and finally had some peace to finish my meal. When I returned to my Mustang, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the strangers who had come to my aid. My beloved car was safe, and Karen's entitlement had been thwarted once and for all. As I drove away, I couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. While my classic Mustang had attracted and wanted attention that day, it had also introduced me to some genuinely kind-hearted people who weren't afraid to stand up to entitled parents like Karen. Entitled mother's outrageous demands at a children's play park. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and the neighborhood play park was bustling with children's laughter and parents enjoying a moment of respite. I had taken my 6-year-old daughter, Lily, to the park to burn off some energy. Little did I know that our peaceful outing would turn into an encounter with an entitled mother of epic proportions. Lily was playing on the swings, her giggles ringing through the air as she swung back and forth. I sat on a nearby bench, watching her with a smile. That's when I noticed Karen, a woman in her late 30s with a scowl that could curdle milk. Karen marched over to me with her son in tow, a boy about Lily's age. Without any pleasantries, she snapped, "You need to get off this bench. My son wants to sit here." Taken aback by her rudeness, I replied, "I'm sorry, but there are other benches available. You can use one of those." Karen crossed her arms and huffed, "My son deserves the best. Move, now." Not wanting to create a scene in front of the children, I reluctantly got up and found another bench. Karen and her son settled in, and I tried to brush it off, focusing on Lily's joy. But Karen wasn't finished. She beckoned her son to join Lily on the swings and demanded, "You push him. It's your job now." I was stunned by her audacity. Lily was there to play, not to babysit Karen's child. I replied firmly, "I'm here to spend time with my daughter. You should take care of your own child." Karen's face turned an alarming shade of red. "How dare you refuse my son? You'll push him on that swing, or I'll report you to the park authorities." Not wanting to escalate the situation further, I decided to push her son for a few minutes. Meanwhile, Karen sat on the bench, chatting with another parent and completely ignoring her own child. As I pushed the boy on the swing, I couldn't help but feel sorry for him. He deserved better than an entitled mother who cared more about her social life than her own child. But Karen wasn't done. She marched over once again, this time with a bag of chips in hand, thrusting them at me. "My son's hungry. Share your snacks with him." I'd had enough. "These snacks are for my daughter. If your son is hungry, you should have brought snacks for him." Karen's face twisted with rage. "You're a terrible mother. Denying my son food. I'll have you banned from this park." Thankfully, another parent intervened, telling Karen to stop her outrageous demands and be a responsible parent herself. With a huff, Karen finally left, dragging her son behind her. As Lily and I continued to enjoy our time at the park, I couldn't help but shake my head at the absurdity of the encounter. It was a stark reminder that entitlement knows no bounds, even in a place meant for children to have fun and parents to support one another. Entitled mother demands my service dog for her anxious child. I had just settled into my favorite cafe, enjoying a quiet cup of coffee with my service dog, Luna, by my side. Luna, a golden retriever, was not just a pet, she was my lifeline, trained to help me manage my anxiety disorder. On this particular day, our peaceful outing was about to be disrupted by an entitled mother named Karen and her anxious child. As I sipped my coffee, Karen and her son approached our table. The boy seemed visibly distressed, clutching onto his mother's hand. Karen's eyes fixated on Luna, and without a word, she demanded, "Give us your dog. My son needs her more than you do." I was taken aback. "I'm sorry, but Luna is my service dog. I need her for my anxiety," I explained calmly, ignoring my words. Karen raised her voice, attracting the attention of nearby patrons. "My son deserves a dog like this. You're just faking your condition. He's the one who needs her." I tried to reason with Karen, explaining that Luna was specifically trained to assist me and couldn't be simply handed over. But Karen was relentless. She started making a scene, claiming that I was selfish and heartless for not giving my dog to her son. Feeling the pressure of the crowd's judgment, Karen reached out, attempting to grab Luna's leash. Luna, sensing my distress, stood firm, blocking Karen's advances. It was a testament to her training and loyalty. Seeing Karen's aggressive behavior, a cafe employee intervened, firmly telling her to leave or face consequences. Karen huffed, muttering profanities under her breath as she retreated, dragging her son away. The cafe staff and patrons rallied around me, offering support and kind words. They commended Luna for her poise and bravery. Their empathy turned what could have been a traumatic experience into a heartwarming one, showcasing the kindness of strangers. In the end, Karen's entitled behavior didn't prevail, and Luna and I continued to enjoy our coffee in peace. I left the cafe that day with my faith in humanity restored, grateful for the understanding and compassion of those who stood up against entitlement and supported the bond between a person and their loyal service animal. Entitled mother tries to sabotage my art gallery exhibition. I had spent years pouring my heart and soul into my art, and finally, the day of my gallery exhibition had arrived. The venue was filled with my colorful paintings, each one a piece of my soul on canvas. Little did I know, this special day would become a battleground against an entitled mother, Susan. Susan had always been a thorn in my side since we were children. She was used to getting her way and couldn't stand it when someone else took the spotlight. As my art career began to blossom, she grew increasingly jealous. The evening started off beautifully as guests admired my work, and I soaked in the compliments. But then, Susan arrived with her daughter, Emma, who had recently taken an interest in art. Susan approached me, her tone dripping with false sweetness. "Congratulations on your little art show. How nice of you to do this for the community." I thanked her, thinking she was genuinely being pleasant. But then, she dropped the bombshell. "I hope you don't mind, but I've brought Emma's artwork to display alongside yours. She's a budding artist, you know." My heart sank. My exhibition was the culmination of years of hard work, and I had no intention of sharing the spotlight with an amateur, even if she was a child. I politely declined, explaining that my show was curated and I had no space for additional pieces. Susan's pleasant facade crumbled. "You're being selfish. You can't deny my daughter this opportunity. She's gifted, and she deserves to be here." I stood my ground, but Susan was relentless. She started telling guests that I was discriminating against young talent and stifling her daughter's creativity. As the evening wore on, Susan's antics grew worse. She began loudly criticizing my artwork, calling it childish and amateurish. She even attempted to place Emma's artwork on an easel in the middle of the gallery, causing chaos. Desperate to maintain the integrity of my exhibition, I sought help from the gallery staff. They asked Susan to leave, but she refused, causing a scene that disrupted the event. Eventually, the gallery staff called the police. As officers escorted Susan and Emma out, she shouted that she would sue me for ruining her daughter's art career. Despite the disruption, my exhibition continued, and I received overwhelming support from guests who had witnessed Susan's entitled behavior. My art shone brightly that night, and Susan's attempts to overshadow it only served to highlight the strength of my passion and determination. In the end, Susan's envy and entitlement were no match for the love and appreciation of true art lovers who stood by my side, ensuring that my special night remained unforgettable for all the right reasons.